Power. Here we go again with another episode of Strategies of Manhood. And I'm your host, Brother Psych, aka the Truth Terrorist, the Knowledge Gangster, the History Hitman, the Lie Killer, the Urban Gorilla. That's what one of my greatest teachers used to always say, and I try my best to keep that tradition alive. Not just me, but many other brothers and sisters that follow in that line of divine knowledge and teachings. But anyway, to get to the point, the last video I dropped The Game of Money Part 1. And I gave you the things that you don't do if you want to be financially successful and asset ready. In this video, I will give you the things that you should be doing if you want to be financially successful and asset ready. Now, one of the things that I want you to understand is that this is not a financial literacy channel. There are many of those out there, and I think that there are many great guys and women that are giving knowledge on this subject that you should really look for and do the research on, because they'll give you the details of how to take care of your business, not just channels. I'm old fashioned, so I like to read books. So there are a lot of books that give you knowledge on these topics. But I just want to point out the points, the details that you should be looking at, and so that'll give you a direction to go in. That's really where I'm going. My channel is based on giving men the knowledge and the information needed in order to manifest their manhood to the highest level possible. That's what this channel is based on. And one of the things you need in order to do that is to understand finances. Let's look at something. One of the roles that a man is going to play in his lifetime, and I'm going to do a video on the roles of a man, is as a husband. The word husband literally means to manage a household. Literally, that's the definition term of the word. Now, the word economics literally means in order to manage resources. So economics is a study of managing resources. Husband means to manage a household. In order to manage a household, you got to be able to manage the resources of the household. So a husband should be the purest economist, and true indeed, without a shadow of a doubt. So that's why it's very important for a man to know how to manage his finances, to manage his money, because that way he'll be able to manage his household. But let's get to it. Here are the 8 things that you need to be doing if you want to be asset ready. Number 1, get a job. Man, that's simple. But the fact is, a lot of people I don't think understand that. I got brothers, very close brothers I love to death, and we'll sit down and we'll have discussions. And when they start telling me that they having financial problems or things are going wrong, the water bill is not being able to be paid, they don't know what they're going to do about the rent, they find themselves falling on hard times, I'd be like, man, let's sit down, let's build on it, let's chop this up, let's see what the problem is. And for some weird reason, we always come to the same problem. They don't have a job. Soon as we figure that out, I say, oh, hell, I know what your problem is, and I know what the answer is. You need a job. And sometimes, we'll take the wrong mindset when it comes to working. You'll go to work with the wrong mindset. You feel like you're a boss. Maybe you've always been a boss. Maybe you used to do other things in your past life that allowed you to be a boss that you don't want to do now because you don't want to take the risk that those things require. So now you're still a boss. And you have to look at having a job in a whole different way. When I go to work, I don't look at myself as an employee necessarily of the company. I look at myself as an employee for myself. I'm an independent contractor. I contract my skills and my time out to a company for finances. And that's what everybody does if you change your mind state. But you got to understand that even if you have plans, even if you have big goals to create and start a business, you have to have seed capital. And there are a couple of ways to get seed capital. You could have it already on your own. Your family can loan it to you. You can get investors to invest in you. But I guarantee nobody will put money into you until they see you willing to put money into yourself. Let me tell you one of the things that I made a decision to do back in 2018, last year. 2018, I sat down and I wrote what was called, I didn't write it in 2018. I actually wrote this way before 2018. I just started putting many other things into action in 2018, but I wrote what I call the 10-10-10 program. Now let me explain to you what the 10-10-10 program is. I sat down and I wrote down the 10 most important things I wanted to accomplish in my lifetime. Then there's a second set of 10 behind it. Everything that you want has a belief behind it. If it didn't have a belief behind it, you wouldn't want it. There's some reason or something that you believe about that thing that you want that you believe is going to improve the quality of your life. Then the third set of 10s behind that is, what actions are you willing to take to bring these things into life? Example, let's say number one, I want to create my own business. So that's the first goal that you want to accomplish. Number two, I believe that in order to truly be free, I must control the sources of my own livelihood. And then number three, what are you willing to do it? The action that I'm willing to take in order to own my own business is, I'm willing to go to school to study business. I'm willing to study personal finance. I'm willing to study economics. I'm willing to save a majority of what I make in order to have money to invest and start my business. These are the things necessary. But when I wrote out my 10-10-10 program, then I wrote something behind it. Something that I was willing to do in order to manifest my goals. That thing was, and this is a little extreme, but here it go. I must be willing to work in the next 2 years harder than I've ever worked before, in order to put myself in a position that I will never have to work that hard again. So this what mind state you have to have. You have to have a job. You have to have a job. You have to have a source of income. If a man does not work, a man should not eat. You have to be bringing in finance. And then you have brothers that'll say, well, they're not paying me enough. Oh, I don't want to work for $9 an hour. That's not enough. Oh, that's not enough. I guarantee you this. Let me show you something. 9 beats nothing. 9 beats nothing. Oh, you don't want to work for $9 an hour forever. And like I said in the previous video, if you want to increase your income, you got to increase your output. If you want to make more, you got to be worth more. So if you want to see yourself making more finance, then you need to make more. If you don't have the skills right now to make more than $9 an hour, then while you're out of work, then what you should be doing is increasing your skills. In Texas, if you're out of work, you can go down to the Texas Workforce Commission, and you can actually get them to fund you gaining more skills. They give you the money for free to go get more skills. You can go get you a CDL and start driving trucks and make you a whole lot of money. You can go get you some HVAC training. You can go get you some construction training. Hell, if you don't want to go through all those things, you can go get a shorter training and get you a forklift driving training. In some way, form, or fashion, there's always something that you can do for yourself to increase and improve your earning ability. But it's all on you. You have to have a job. Remember, 9 beats nothing. You got to work. But 2 in the 8 things that you need to be doing in order to be financially ready, you have to have an unbeatable work ethic. I once read Steve Harvey. He said you have to get up before everybody else is getting up. You got to stay longer than anybody else is staying. You got to work harder than everybody else. He said there's no magic formula to success. You have to work hard for it. And I truly believe in that. I quoted a Jeezy verse one time where Jeezy said, you got to play it how it go. You can't cheat on life. You better drink a Red Bull. You can't sleep on life. You know, and once you understand this mind state, you understand that this is how you develop. This is how you build. Just in the step 1, I just told you that I said I was willing to work in the next 2 years harder than I've ever worked before, so I never have to work that hard again. Well, see, the rest of that was I have to be willing to. I came out and I had the mind state that I'm willing to work in the next 2 years. Like at the end of that 2 years, I was going to prison for the rest of my life. Now think about what kind of mind state and motivation you would have if you only had 2 years to work hard and get all your affairs in order so that you could be able to take care of yourself for the rest of your life if you was having a prison stay or if you was infirm and weren't able to work or build anymore. Think about the things that you would need to already have established. Imagine being in prison for the rest of your life. Wouldn't it be good to have a set of apartments that you owned that collected rent from renters every month and you was able to send yourself your own money to your books instead of sitting around waiting on somebody else to send you money? Because if you waiting on somebody else to send you money, then you're always at the mercy of another person's feelings and desire to take care of you. Wouldn't it be much better and more comfortable to be in a position to take care of yourself? So you have to have an unbeatable work ethic. You got to always show up on time. You got to show them that you always about your business. Because once a person can see that, that's when people invest in you. See, you got to understand something. People don't invest in you because you cute. People don't invest in you because they want to help you. You got to be able to show somebody where dealing with you is going to benefit them in their life. They got to be able to say, man, that's a hard worker. It's good for me to invest in him. It's good for me to get him a raise because by dealing with him, he's going to add constant value to what it is I'm trying to build. That's what you have to be willing to do. 3 would be to create a budget and then forecast everything you spend. I would say, and everybody done said this, you done seen it from everybody, from Dave Ramsey to the brother I told y'all about last time, Grant Stephan on his YouTube channel. Good dude to watch. You want to learn some things about finances. Everybody says this. You have to create a budget, and then you have to forecast what you're spending. You have to know what you're spending. Most people, I'm gonna tell you how most people deal with money. They get paid, turn it all into cash, put it in their pocket, and then spend until they have no more money. And then they find themselves in a position where they need some money to be able to survive until payday. So they borrow money until payday. Payday come and they owe some of that money out, and they follow the same cycle all over again. You'll never get financially ahead following that type of plan. So you have to sit down and you have to know what you're spending. You have to create a budget. You have to create a budget, and then you have to look into the future, and you have to forecast what you are going to spend for that week, for that month. You have to forecast these things. Here's a way to do it. One of the simplest, most simple financial books I ever read, because it's simple. It doesn't tell you a whole lot, but it gives you the mind state, and it gives you some simple formulas for dealing with finances. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, bestseller, beautiful book. In the book, he breaks down how to create a financial statement. And you probably thinking to yourself, man, that's a very difficult thing to do. He took a piece of paper, he folded the paper in half long way. He put assets on one side and he put liabilities on the other. There you go. Assets is everything in your life that adds value to your life. Anything that you have, your job, how much money you make a week or every 2 weeks, however often you get paid, your investments, whatever brings money into your life, whatever brings value goes in the asset column. Liabilities is everything that takes away from your life. Everything that you owe at the end of the month. Then you subtract your liabilities from your assets, and that gives you your net worth. If you have, make this conversation simple, $500 worth of assets, and then in your liabilities, you have $400 worth of liabilities, what you owe every month. You subtract that 400 from that 500, that leaves you 100. You're in the black. You're in the good. So every month you have an extra $100 swinging. This is the situation you should be trying to place yourself in. So when you write a budget, first thing you need to do, if you have not wrote a budget already, first thing you need to do is you need to look at how you're spending money. Write down every single thing that you spend, from a cup of coffee to a piece of gum in the store. Every single thing that you spend, every single expense that you have, rent, light bill, phone bill, water bill, Wi-Fi, whatever you have, write those expenses down and do this for 3 months. And you ought to see a pattern of your spending. Then look at that after 3 months and look at the things that you can cut out. Things that just pop up that you just blow money on. Get rid of those things. Because you're going to have what's called a fixed expense. Rent is a fixed expense. Phone bill is a fixed expense. These things are always going to be there. Then you're going to have what's called variable expenses. These are things that just swing through. If you went out to eat, that's a variable expense. If you decide to go to Six Flags, that's a variable expense. If you went down to Miami for the weekend, that's a variable expense. Some of these variable expenses can be cut out, and that gives you a real portfolio and understanding of what your finances really look like. Then you create your budget based on that. The true idea of having a good budget is to be spending less than what you make. If you're spending more than what you make, you're in trouble. You want to create a situation where you're spending less than what you make and you're saving. You need to be putting some towards your savings. It's very, 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 very important. You need to be putting some towards savings so you can have a cushion. But I'm going to talk about that in the next point. So you have to create a budget and you have to forecast your spending. People that are successful with money have budgets. These people create budgets. Everybody that I've ever read when I was trying to get an understanding of how to deal with my finances, all of them said the same exact thing that I'm saying right now. So I'm not making this up. Create your budget and forecast your spending. Don't just blow your money. And falling right behind number 3 is number 4. And they connect with each other. You need to create accounts in order to organize your finances. See, if you want to have money, then you got to create a place for money to rest safely. So you got to create accounts to take care of everything that you need taken care of. The first thing you need to do is create an emergency fund. I got this idea from Dave Ramsey and what he calls his baby steps. Create a quick $1,000 emergency fund. Meaning every time you get paid, put a portion aside to that emergency fund. Let's say you put $50 every week toward that emergency fund. Once you got $1,000 saved up, that's your emergency fund. That's not gas money. That's not grocery money. That's emergency money. Most people, according to statistics, the average person in America does not have $1,000 saved up for an emergency. If you had an emergency that came over that cost $1,000, that'll put you behind. So you know what that means to me? Most people are living check to check, and that's a dangerous situation to be in. $1,000 take you out of the game, and you don't want to be in that type of situation. Once you create that $1,000 emergency fund that you don't touch for anything, think of it like an emergency break in case of emergency. That's what you think of, it being behind a piece of glass and you need a hammer to break it in case of emergency. So anyway, once you create that, then you need to create an account for your finances going to. You need to have an account with a bank where your finance, and then you need to direct deposit your payroll into that account, and then take care of your basic responsibilities with that. Your rent, your whatever bills you got, electric bill, phone bill, all of those bills, take care of it from that account. Then you need to create another account. This next account is it's not necessarily a savings account, but a whole nother bank account for just taking care of personal needs. So you could filter some of the money from your major account into the personal account to take care of other basic responsibilities that you want to take care of. And you should have a credit card, not to go blow and go buy big screen TVs with. Do the basic stuff with it. And make sure you get a credit card that does not have an annual fee attached to it. So therefore you can keep it open without it costing you anything. Pay your basic things like gas, buy your basic groceries, simple little things like that throughout the week, and treat it like another bill. At the end of the month, pay off your credit card. Once you get your finances going in order like this, and for a lot of people, it's easier to save money if you don't actually see physical cash. At least for me it is. It's easier to save money if you don't actually see the physical cash, because then you'll think of yourself as broke because you don't have any physical cash to touch. So you're spending and dealing with all your finances through your accounts. And don't give people access to your accounts. If somebody jump in your email and say, hey, I got a free gift for you, all you got to do is pay for the shipping and handling, put your account information right here, don't do that. Don't do it. If you have not contacted a legitimate dealer to purchase something, don't do it. Don't accept any spam, any of that. I don't care how legit it look. Don't do it. That's how people get at your money. And that's why I said to have that second account to take care of your basic personal thing. Because if somebody do get in your account, at least they don't get your major account. They get you for $100, $200 at the most from your simple account. So you have to create a house for money to rest safely in. Create accounts for organizing your money. Next, avoid too much television. One guy I read, he said, throw the television away. Another book that I read, Millionaire Next Door, I talked about it in the last video I did, said that millionaires only watch world news and financial reports, regardless of what everybody else is doing. One thing you have to understand is that television specializes in telling lies to your vision. It is a culturally hypnotic device that particular focus is to control your opinions and direct your spending habits. Why do you think advertisers spend millions and millions of dollars on commercials? They spend millions of dollars for a 3-minute commercial during the Super Bowl. Do you think people would do that if it did not work? No. They have sociologists and psychologists that sit around and actually study behaviors of people to understand what type of advertising will influence your spending habits. And if nothing else, it's a big waste of time. You sit up and watch a whole bunch of television. I have a television and I watch TV, but not network television. Most of the time I watch YouTube. I watch channels like this. I'm going to tell you some of the people I watch, and I don't know these guys, but I think these are some good people to watch to get information from. I like watching Eric Thomas for motivation. Brother, extremely motivational. I like to watch Graham Stephan for financial concepts and ideas. That brother, he builds on some nice financial concepts. I love watching Mike Rashid for workout, and the brother is very knowledgeable. I love watching that brother. The brother, his channel is Immortal Mind, Soul Immortal. That's a deep brother, and he gonna build on some nice ideas. And I like AMS. AMS gonna give you some nice concepts. Plus, he's funny as hell. He's very entertaining, brother. And a sister that I like is Sarah Lena. That's a good sister to get relationship concepts, ideas. Very intelligent sister, very respectful toward her man, and she brings her man on her channel, and he builds on some nice ideas. These are a lot of times the way I utilize a lot of my time if I'm in front of the television. Usually I'll have YouTube on while I'm cooking, cleaning, or doing something else, and I'll be getting educated at the same time. But avoid watching too much mind-numbing television. Next is learn how to invest your money. If you're saving your money, if you have your emergency fund, if you have a place for your money to stay safely. If you're making all the right moves, the next thing you need to do is learn how to make your money work for you. That's the concept. Instead of working for your money, then you start making money work for you. Learn how to invest in real estate, stocks, bonds. Learn these concepts. And don't just jump out there and put your money in something you don't understand. Never ever invest in something that you don't completely have a full grasp and understanding of, something that you don't believe in. Always invest in what you believe in. Invest in one of the most successful investors in the world in history, Warren Buffett. He says he invests in Coca-Cola. He said the simple reason why is because he liked Coca-Cola and he drank Coca-Cola every day. Remember that when you're investing, what you're doing is you're voting for a company to keep producing. You're voting with your dollars. You're saying that I want this company to keep producing this product. And you're making a bet that this company is going to outproduce other companies that you had the opportunity to invest in. But not just in stocks and bonds, but you can invest in yourself. You can invest in your education. You can invest in many things that can make you finance. I mean, it's simple things like flipping. You might can find something for a cheaper rate, buy it, and then turn around and flip that thing at a higher expense. That is in itself is investing. So learn and understand investing. 7 is keep people around you that can think. See, well, you got to remember that we develop our ideas by the communications that we engage in, by the people that we'll lend our ear to. So you want to keep people around you that can think, that are actually intelligent, and that are coming up with newer and better ideas, not just sitting around talking about absolutely nothing. You have to keep this in mind. Also, you got to keep in mind that as long as you got people around you that can think, you'll have access to higher ideas, what will constantly evolve you. One thing I know is if you're around people that's making a lot of money, you're gonna in some way want to make a lot of money yourself. If you're around intelligent people that engage in intelligent conversation, by osmosis, you will start picking up a more intelligent vocabulary. I think it's in Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14, where it says there's safety in a multitude of counselors. If you got people around you that can think, then you are able to stay safe because you got people that you can seek wise and intelligent advice from. So always keep people around you that can think. Last but not least, number 8 is study finance scientifically. If you want to be asset ready, if you want to have money, then you will have to study the material that will teach you how to earn, invest, save, budget, and allocate money properly. You would have to study this material. There's a lot of material out there. I'd say some good authors to start with. I'm going to give you a quick reference. For the mind state, for the habits and behavior, a good place to start is the Millionaire Habits by Robert Ringer. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. These are some good places to start when understanding the habits. For understanding the mind state, it's good to start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. But if you want to understand how money flows, it's a good thing to get any basic general book on economics. Like I have one here called Economics 101. This gives you a basic understanding of how money moves through the economy. It gives you a basic understanding. Now, keep in mind, I'm not getting paid for any of these things. I'm just giving you some of the resources that'll help you get to where you're trying to go. You want to understand business, get any introduction to business textbook. They're going to build on the same ideas. And one of the best books I've ever read on business is was published by Entrepreneur Magazine. It's called The Only Book on Business That You Will Ever Need. And that's a great book. Gonna give you all the details on these different concepts. Now remember, there's a difference between economics, personal finance, and business. There's a difference. These 3 subjects, a lot of people mix these 3 subjects up and think that they're the same subject when they're interconnected, but they're not the same exact subject. Personal finance is how you organize and manage your own finances, how you manage your own self and your own life like it's a business. Economics is the study of how resources are utilized in the environment. That's the difference between economics and personal finance. And business is the study of how you utilize economics in order to make a profit. Those are the differences between those 3 different studies. So understand where it is you're trying to go. If you're not trying to own a business and you're just trying to manage your finances well, then you need to understand personal finance. And in my opinion, you need to understand economics. If you're a businessman, then you need to understand all 3. And if you just allow period, you need to understand economics. But this is all I have for you on these things. If you do these things, I think you'll move closer toward managing yourself correctly. Now, remember, I'm not a financial guru. This is not a finance channel. To get more information, you can go to finance channels and get better and deeper details. These are just a starting ground for understanding the things that you should be doing. Hopefully you subscribe. Hopefully you stayed through the whole video. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time I drop a video. Support the channel. Leave a comment. Leave a like. I hope y'all stay with me throughout this journey. Peace.